complete sham, what a fraudulent, grotesque perversion of reality the White House briefings have become. You should see what happened today. The low IQ White House press secretary brought in a bunch of TV actors to stand there so she could promote a TV show for some reason. Why are we doing this again? She never really explained. Mental Health Day or something. None of them were doctors. But at the same time, even as she was promoting a TV show, the White House press secretary refused to take questions from actual reporters. First on that list would be our friend Simon Atiba of Today News Africa. So today, Atiba just got frustrated and called out the White House press secretary for ignoring his actual questions for months. Watch what happened next.
What you are doing, you are making a monkey of the First Amendment. It's been 7 months. You've not called on me. No, my messaging. I'm saying that's not right. That's not right.
Fun times. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the press briefing room.
That's not right. This is not China. This is not Russia. This is the United States. This is the White House. It's been 7 months. I sent you emails. It has been 7 months. You guys have not done anything for me.
If you have grievances, you should bring them to her later.
I have done that. I've done that. All my emails have been
And the
ignored.
press corps is tired of dealing with this.
I've done that. Understand that you get questions all the time and you don't understand what it is to sit here for 8 months and being discriminated against. Understand that you're in the front row and you feel comfortable and you get questions all the time. But there are people in the back who don't get any questions.
Don't make assumptions about what the rest of us do. Mind your manners when you're in here. If you have a problem, you bring it up afterwards.
What has just occurred this last 10, 15 minutes is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. So we're either going to continue the briefing or we can just end the briefing right here.
Outrageous doesn't even describe what we just played for you. So here you have the White House press secretary whose job it is to answer questions from journalists on behalf of the entire American population, hijacking the event to promote a TV show and then screaming at a guy who wants his questions answered. And then the other shills in the room don't take the side of their fellow journalist, but take the side of the lady at the front to whom they are actually beholden and try and shut down Simon Atiba. Who did that? This is a partial list. That would include Jeff Mason of Reuters, who should be ashamed, Brian Karam of CNN, Associated Press correspondent Zeke Miller, even apologized to the press secretary later in the press conference. They, again, should be ashamed of themselves. And previous generations of reporters would have turned on them. Really, you're taking her side? She's a liar? Your job is not to suck up to power. It's to serve your viewers and readers by getting to the truth. But instead, they piled on Simon Atiba. Really the most revealing moment maybe ever in the White House press room. We are honored now to be joined by Simon Atiba himself. Simon, thank you so much for coming on. We're really glad to have you. What prompted, you seem very frustrated there. What prompted your exchange with the press secretary?
Yes, thank you, Tucker. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm grateful. You know, the First Amendment protects the freedom of speech, the press, and assembly, and the right to petition your government to seek redress. And that First Amendment says that I have the right to ask questions, to do my job, and the press secretary doesn't need to like me, date me, marry me, have 2 black children with me. She doesn't need all that. She doesn't even need to like my accent, doesn't need to like what I look like, where I come from. They look down on me. They don't respect the First Amendment. And so what has been happening in the White House is, in the past 7 months, I've done all the right things. I've not been called on. I've gone to her office to seek a meeting. She said that she will meet with me next year. I've sent questions about the Nigerian election, about the problems, challenges in Africa. And they've not called on me, even as the vice president is going to Africa, even as the first lady, Jill Biden, went to Africa, even when they received 50 African leaders for the US African Summit in Washington, D.C. The guy who covers the White House, the African guy who covers the White House, is looked down upon in the greatest country in the world, in the most advanced country where freedom of speech is protected. It's a shame what happened today. One of the guys that you showed there now, Brian, he was kicked out of the WACA because he became violent in the Rose Garden. It's a disgrace. It's very violent. He attacks many people. It's a shame. what happened to me today, it's a total disgrace, and it's happening in the Biden White House. And you know, when it happens to Jim Acosta of CNN, because they respect him, he's white, he works for CNN. I'm black, I'm African, I don't have money. They look down on me. I don't have the opportunities that they have, and 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 they don't treat me the same way. I need to do my job. The freedom of speech and the press in the US allows me to do my job, and that's the only thing that I'm trying to do. And they are stonewalling me, trying to help Karine Jean-Pierre, and it's a shame.
The fact that Jeff Mason and the rest, who should be ashamed of himself, took the White House side against you is really one of the most awful things I've ever seen. I was shocked by it, as cynical as I am, and I appreciate your coming on tonight. You seem unbowed. Seminativa, we are rooting for you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.